Oh, we're live. Welcome to the Writer's Life, place where you get the sight, sound, smells, taste of my writer's life, where you get the truth about the writer's life. Subscribe if you haven't already. Punch the like button and the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on one single exciting video. So it's New Year. Today's the day we observe it. I guess just means you just don't go to work. I guess I worked. Anyways, New Year's, it's when you make all those resolutions and stuff like that, and don't keep them. Some people like to say they're gonna take up exercise, or or lose weight, and others are like, I'm gonna learn an instrument this year. Even middle-aged people, they'll say, I want to learn an instrument. Almost all of these people fail. They are not resolute enough to carry through with their resolutions. I love to work out, so luckily that's not a problem for me, and I'm not overweight. Although I'm heavier than you would think because I lift weights. By the way, that whole like height and weight chart the doctors have, I think is bullshit because fat weighs a lot less than muscle. Did you know that? You're probably like, why is he telling me something I already know? All right. So, but what is it you want? You have to look yourself in the mirror and just say, resolutions should go deeper. I mean, like, it's a brand new year. What is it you really want? What is it that you've been ignoring? You know you want it, but you've been ignoring it or putting it to the side, or you've been talking yourself out of it. We have this thing, especially Catholics, and especially Italian Catholics. We have this thing called guilt, and guilt has its place. If you murder someone out of the blue, you should feel guilty over that, and therefore never do it again. Or if you go out of your way to rob somebody, or if all those people in New York City or wherever that just feel as though they can walk into a stop and rob and walk out with a 12-pack because the law says you can, they should still feel guilty. But there's other kinds of guilt that will prevent you from living your life to the fullest. One of them is like if you're in a relationship that is just dragging you down and has been dragging you down for years and years and years, you've got to get out of it. So a lot of you are going to disagree with me, but I feel as though you have one life, and you should not feel guilty over wanting to be happy. So no matter who it affects, your kids, other relatives, you have to break away from that relationship. You just have to. I know some of you are going to be like, well, we made the vow and whatever, and that's one vow. That's just an excuse. Same goes for like if you wanted to write a book, like you're just like, well, I don't have the time. I don't have the time to write a book. Yes, you do. Do you sit down and drink a cup of coffee every morning or a cup of tea, or do you just like, whatever? 1 page a day, that's 250 words, one type page a day. If you did that every single day, you'd have enough material for not one book per year, but 2 books per year. That's how easy it is. So there's no excuse. But I'm a firm believer in doing what you want when you want to do it while living your life responsibly. There's nothing wrong with being independent, acting independently. And there's nothing wrong with, doing what's right for you, even if it's Other people don't like it. Too bad, right? Make this the year. I just saw a meme that a friend of mine sent out, or she put it out. I don't know, like LinkedIn or something, and it said, "This is the year I'm gonna start telling people to fuck off." And there's some truth to that. Make this. Don't feel guilty about that. Make this the year that you're gonna be honest with people. You don't have to be a jerk, but you're just brutally honest with them. Maybe from a writer's perspective, from the writer's life perspective, maybe you're sick of your agent not holding his weight. Just be like, you know what? Sorry, it's been great, but I'm moving on. I don't have that problem. I like my agent. He's my agent for life, so long as he'll have me. But like if you don't like your publisher, if they're doing a shitty job, can them. If anything is dragging you down, especially if you're middle aged at this point, like what do you got? Like 10, 15 good years left, really good years left. I wouldn't waste another second. You want that ski house up north? Go get it. You want to move to Florida? Do it. You want to spend the year traveling with your backpack while you're still young enough to do it? Drop it all and do it. You hate your job? You're doing it just for money, and you're sick and tired of your boss? Tell him to go what himself or herself and take off. Start your own business. There's never been a better time to start your own business. There's just do it. I mean, it just frustrates me when some people just, they might live in a sexless marriage, just because maybe the wife has the money and they don't. Like that to me is pathetic. Or vice versa. The husband has all the money and she doesn't, but it's a fucking miserable life. But like you can't imagine leaving, because what would you do? You'd have to get a job or something. Oh Lord. Anyway, change your life. Look yourself in the mirror. Change your life. Do what's good for you. All right, because it's a new year, so make it a new start. Enough of my preaching. Hopefully, who's there? Big Philly. It's got to be Big Philly. What do we got? Reading and writing is way better hobby than it used to be. To hit the casino daily several years ago. Yeah. I was talking to a guy yesterday, and he's like, "Oh, I just came back from big win." They always tell you about the big wins, but you wonder about the big losses. Big Philly. I have 2 ex-wives and 2 kids. Made me a better father. Very, very close with my boys. Amen to escaping hell of a bad match. God, I think you're like my alter ego, because we had so much. Big Philly, you and I have share so many of the same things, so many of the same situations. Desperately gonna try to try the short story challenge this year. 52 stories, like Bradbury did. Yeah, Ray Bradbury did the 1 story per day. In fact, there's some Ray Bradbury footage where he's workshopping his story, and I'm sure he probably did have friends come over and all that, like to workshop. But Ray Bradbury never workshopped his work. He wrote it, and that was the story, and that was it. But there's some corny footage from the 1960s that shows Ray Bradbury like he's writing a story, and then later on, everybody's living in the living room and they're going over his story. I mean, what do you think and all this? It's horseshit. He wouldn't let anybody influence how he wrote a story, and that's a good thing. Half Italian and Catholic here. Yeah, me too. Guilt is a good friend of mine. What do you want, and why do you want it? That's right. It's what you got to ask yourself. Hey, Shadow Rider. Yep, you made it. You made it. You know why? Because my mother called me, and she had me on the phone for about 15 minutes. So I started late today. Happy New Year to everybody, by the way. I'm interested to hear how your progress goes this year, everybody. Like your writing progress. What else you got, Shadow Rider? Happy New Year too. You can make a living just by writing short stories. It might take a few years, but you can actually, if you get up 300 short stories, because I mean, I just got a royalty report for the Moonlight books that Down and Out pulls out, and it was a nice royalty report. It was pretty good. I was way more than I expected. But my indie stuff, like everything sells. Everything sells. Even if one book sells like 2 copies that month, but everything sells. So that's why I'm at it every day. You know, new material every day. Shadow Rider. I've been slacking for days. The holiday season, it's been 5 months. I know it's been the longest holiday season ever. My mother and I were just talking about it. Anyway, all right, you guys, I got to get off. I got to get back to work. I still got to read over another Moonlight Destruction chapter. All right, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Thanks for chiming in, everybody. And Happy New Year. And that's the last time I'm going to say it. Ciao, ciao.